In today's video, you guys, we are going to talk about new strategies that I'm going to be employing in my business so that ultimately I can serve you better. Moving to Southern Missouri is the best thing I've ever done for my family. So what this spring has showed me is that I am absolutely at my cap of what I can do in terms of production and service as a buyer's agent. That I've got clientele that, honestly, I could use another me to be able to give the high level red carpet service that I want to give. And I believe that if I change up my business structure, I can give even more. And I want to describe to you what that will look like in the future. So I kind of slowly started to incorporate this model, but really need to do it more starting soon. And that is using another agent, and I've got two in mind, but another agent to actually be opening the doors for a good amount of my showings. A lot of you though, you want me with you, and I get that. You want my opinion on things. So here is how that is going to work, where my stamp of quality will still be there. And the number one thing, and I don't know any other realtor doing this structure, is that I am going to be on the phone as kind of your researcher and admin on the phone while you're doing showings. And being on the phone doesn't have to be nonstop, but when you need me. But here's why that would be so amazing. So you will be boots on the ground with a realtor that I've trained with my standard of quality of how I look at properties, which is kind of like an inspection, right? Like I'm not just like, look at how nice it is. It's like, I'm like, let's get into the crawl space kind of showing. So I'm going to be training realtors to have that eye, right? And of course, actual inspections are going to give us the full look at any property that we go under contract for. But I really do like to pretty much inspect the property beforehand. But I'm going to train realtors to do that. And then I'm going to be on the phone able to answer all your questions, be deep diving into the disclosures, all the things that are almost impossible when we are there at the showing. So I don't know any other realtor doing this where they've got their client, they're looking at the property, and then they're there available as like kind of this like background kind of admin researcher that can just be getting all of these questions answered real time or as quickly as possible. The other thing that I'm doing that was gonna be able to up like my standard of service is that I'm looking at realtors who have side-by-sides that can be there and driving you to every square inch of those properties. I mean, for the most part, but really you're able to feel the land so much more walking. And so I do like to incorporate walking, but on the bigger tracts, as most of you know, like to really be able to traverse all that acreage, you need that side by side. And so that is another leveling up that I want to do, because it's been really hard for me to find listing agents that provide those side by sides. When they do, it's incredible. And I'm talking really like 30 acres and up. I mean, 30 acres is no problem to walk. Like literally, you guys, I've walked hundreds of acres. That's just how I roll. I like walking, but I do now see the benefit of the side-by-sides, and I want to incorporate that in the larger tracts. And what I would say is if there are any properties that are seriously in question, I can go after the fact, and you can also get me to be boots on the ground, right? Also being able to look at properties preemptively is still a lot easier for me than, if I have more time, I can be doing kind of first boots on the ground before we even put it on a list, and I'll have more time to do that. And so one thing I do like to do is when I can go look at properties ahead of time, because so many can be taken off the list that we actually don't know that they just do not check the boxes, right? But let's say that you did a day of showings, we got a lot of questions answered, and you just feel more comfortable with me going there. I'm gonna have the opportunity to do that more for clients because I won't be out on the road 7 days a week. And then the other place that I want to provide that, because I know that you build trust with me intimately, right? And a lot of you trust me. You want to know my 2 cents on the property. In those situations, like if you are going to be buying sight unseen, I just will always be the one to get eyes on it. I can't not. Because even though like I'm gonna train up other realtors to have my eye, like they will be going to the attic crawl space, they will be going under the house, they will be looking at all of the, the utilities and all of the furnaces and things like that. But for sight unseen, it's just such a risk that I will not feel comfortable doing a sight unseen with another realtor. That is a situation where I need to see it personally, because you're not seeing it personally, I'm not seeing it personally, and then what we're gonna have another third party be looking at it, and that's just too many parties involved, right? Sight unseen is not impossible, but to me there's more stress there, because I'm kind of like, I'm really giving it my word without you seeing it. So those properties are too stressful for me not to see. And then I've been thinking about a way that I can always get eyes on every property, once you're under contract, being able to have a little bit more flexibility in my schedule where I'm not out on the road 7 days a week. I can start to make it to those inspections more, and then communicating and working directly with the inspector and being able to describe to you any issues with the property because I know them intimately. I saw them with my eyes and had the inspector describe it to me, and then that way I can provide even more intel, right? And so these are the ways that I really want to add value. And the truth is that by being on the road 7 days a week, I'm not able to do so many things. Like lately, I've been missing so many inspections because I'm on the road, constantly on the road. So it is time for me to change this up. And I believe that the way I'm going to design it is unlike any other realtor. I don't know any other realtor that has designed a team so that showings are like, the support system that's coming from all these different angles. And I truly believe that I can design it where you have more and better service, more people helping you than if it was just me. It will be actually better. And in the end, it will be an even higher standard of service. And that's my goal. And just to be frank, the other reason too is that there's no way for me to scale and to further my business as a listing agent, right? I absolutely love listing properties. I've had to scale down. I've sold all but one of my listings right now and have just focused on being a buyer's agent because I'm maxed out, I'm capped out. And I truly think that by switching up my model, I can give time to be a listing agent, and I want to be as good of a listing agent as I am a buyer agent. And I want to design this where I'm not building a team. It's kind of different, right? It is a team, but it's a team all working with me at the helm. I'm sorry if that sounds a little controlling, but often that is the best way to control quality, and it matters so much to me. So that I'm gonna have people working, in different roles like administrative and doing showings and all of these things that is going to help me make sure that quality control is of the highest standard. So I just wanted to take some time to describe that. Of course, I can describe it to you one-on-one, and it's something that I'm going to be rolling out incrementally. I have 2 realtors in mind, and maybe I'll have 2, or maybe I'll just find that one is more trainable or whatever, but I am going to have realtors that are going to start to do showings, and I'm going to train them to do showings like I do. And here is kind of what you can expect. So for those of you that have done showings with me, often what you see is, we're looking at the property and the land and your usage and if those things match, but we're kind of doing our showing like an inspection. So I'm getting in the mud and I'm looking down at the crawl space. I'm gonna be smelling every crawl space, right? If there's easy access, although sometimes the access is not easy and I don't do it and I say, okay, the inspector will get up there, but I like to smell the attic, I wanna be looking for water intrusion spots. I wanna be looking for water intrusion all over the home, right? I want to identify some of the heavy hitting things that are going to be shown in the inspection report, so we already know it and we already are aware, with what we saw, is this the home that you want to put the contract in? Sometimes I like to give you rough estimates hey, you're looking at some big repairs here, or these repairs sound really big, but are actually not as bad as we think. I want to get to all of that before we even get your inspection report. That is how I do showings, and that is how I'm going to train a realtor to work under me to do showings as well. So they're going to feel, yes, like traditional real estate showings, but with a heavy splash of like, this is a home inspection too. And if you don't want to get dirty, I don't expect you to. All my clothes are stained. I don't care. These things are important to me. So like, I will be, I will never like put an outfit over like finding you the right property, and I will train another realtor to do the absolute same. Like, we will be getting dirty for you. So that is just a little bit of an overview of how things are going to change in the future. For now, things are going to be kind of staying the same as I slowly incorporate a team. But it's not the traditional team where I just have people working under me and providing me a cut of what they make. It's going to be a team supporting me to have quality control, to bring you the absolute best service. And I want to create something special, okay? And so to do that, I need to continue to raise the bar, and I can't continue to raise the bar when I literally do not have the time to. Okay, you guys, as always, all my information is in the description. Reach out to me. I have been working through tons of issues and problems with my website. I finally have it worked out where your leads are coming to me. They were going to my ex-husband, which is not the way I wanted to structure my business. I have been working on that for like 3 months. Finally have all of those problems worked out. So my website is going to be starting to look a lot better. The IDX was down, and then we had issues with that. So pretty soon all the properties are going to be generating through my website again. So just know that I am in the works of trying to really improve my response time, all my marketing, and all the tools that I want to provide you to find your properties. So reach out to me. All my emails are working. As I've told some people, my ex also erased 2 of my business emails, which was absolutely devastating. And I have just been trying to rebuild since then. So at least all my all my emails are working. All the information should be good on all my different sites. Reach out to me and we will start the process of finding you an amazing property in Southern Missouri. All right, you guys, until next time, bye.